He rationalizes, said he justified it in the legislation that this was for national defense purposes, but that was rationalization. So I would say that if you really wanted to introduce this massive expenditure, we should have amended the Constitution in order to do that. And besides, you can make economic arguments. Maybe that's why we drive too many cars now. We don't have mass transit because we misdirected, the whole development of how transportation should have developed. And because, car companies and oil companies love this. So there was a subsidies to car companies and highways, and now we're suffering the consequences. We don't have mass transportation in our cities. So there are downsides, economically speaking, when we sort of bend the rules.
Ron,
go ahead.
Ron, I appreciate you spending some time here this afternoon, and want to give you an opportunity to kind of send the message that you'd like for people out there, not just your supporters, because they know what you have to say, but those people who are on the fence. But before you say that, do me a favor. Bruce was talking about time machines. Go forward for me for 20 years. And let's say it's 2027 in this country. Tell me about the America that you envision when it comes to foreign policy, when it comes to how we're following the Constitution and what our government looks like and our dependency on foreign oil. Tell me what you see this country like 2, maybe 3 presidents into the future.
Well, it depends on what we do. If we follow my ideas and the ideas of the Constitution, it would be dramatically different. And the country would be much more wealthier. It would, the troops would be here at home. We would not have fought any wars. Our dollar would be sound. It would be backed up by something. We would have no deficits. And there would be much better health care. There would be more money for health care, more money going into education. Since the Iraqi war started, we've spent $1 trillion over there for management. That money would have all stayed in our society here and would have helped people enhance their living and their standard of living. Today, it's going down because we borrow this money and we print the money, and the standard of living for all Americans is going down. So if you're compassionate and you care about poor people and medical care, you have to stop the inflation, because government delivery of these services through deficit financing and printing money, it destroys the middle class, and it takes away from the very things that liberals a lot of times say, we've got to give them more medical care, but you got to pay for it. If you do it without paying for it, you're going to destroy the very people that you want to help. So you have to change it. If you do it, this would be a healthy society. I think immigration problems would be almost eliminated. There wouldn't be an incentive or a worry or a concern if we had that kind of a healthy economy.
See, what I'm afraid of, though, is you go in, and I think you want to eviscerate the federal government. You want to get rid of the FDA. You want to get rid of the IRS. What programs am I missing? I mean,
which programs do I want to keep?
Yeah. So you want to gut it. You want to gut that safety net. That I think.
But the safety net doesn't work.
Well, no, it worked for me. I would not have.
Tell
this
me
job.
why, Ron. Tell me why it doesn't work.
Well, it does work for some people, but overall it ultimately fails because you spend more money than you have, and then you borrow to the hilt. Now we have to borrow $800 billion a year just to keep the safety net going. It's going to collapse when the dollar collapses. You can't even fight the war without this borrowing. And when the dollar collapses, you can't take care of the elderly today. They're losing ground. Their cost of living is going up about 10%, even though the government denies it. We give them a 2% pay, cost of living increase.
But you think the gold standard then would fix that?
The gold standard would keep you from printing money and destroying the middle class. Every country where you have runaway inflation, there's no middle class. Mexico, there's no middle class. You have a huge poor class and a lot of wealthy people. Today we have a growing poor class, and we have more billionaires than ever before. So we're moving into third world status. Very, very dangerous. The worst thing you can do for the poor people of this country.
Ron, real quickly, who is the safety net that you're speaking of? Who does benefit from all those programs and all those agencies?
Well, everybody on a short term benefits for a time. If you build a tenement house by the government, for about 15 or 20 years, somebody might live there. But you don't measure who paid for it. Somebody lost their job. Down the road, somebody had inflation. Somebody else suffered. But then the tenement house falls down after about 20 years because it's not privately owned. So everybody eventually suffers. But the immediate victims aren't identifiable because you don't know who lost the job and who had the inflation. The victims are invisible. The few people who benefit, who gets some help from government, everybody sees, oh, look what we did. But they never say, instead of what? What did we lose? And unless you ask that question, we will go into bankruptcy. We're in the early stages of it. The dollar is going down. and our standard of living is going down, and we're hurting the very people that so many people want to help, especially the people the liberals want to help.
So we lived through this unregulated age in the late part of the 19th century, and I think we as a country decided that's not the way to go. The Gilded Age was not the right way. I mean, we were crazy laissez-faire.
Yeah, and it was the best. The period of time, if you study it, the best time of steady economic growth with stable prices was in the latter part of the 19th century up until World War I. And after that, it's been up and down, inflation, wars, and depressions, and inflation, and all the stuff. But we're in uncharted territory now. We're not going to go through a little fluctuation, a little recession, or whatnot. Our dollar is threatened, and the dollar is an international currency. It's the reserve currency of the world. So this is not a little deal. This is a big deal, because you can't live beyond your means forever, and that's what you're facing. People in your generation are going to pay the bill, regardless. Your standard of living is going to be down, regardless, because we've lived way beyond our means, and you're getting all the debt. You're getting the $60 trillion worth of obligations, the $9 trillion worth of debt, and you're going to get the wars, and you're going to get all these problems, and you're going to have to pay for it. What I'm offering is a chance for your age group to get out of Social Security and assume responsibility for yourself. And believe me, the college kids on the campus shout, and they're delighted with a chance to get out, because they know they're going to get nothing out of Social Security in the next 40 years.
Yeah, they also love fish, so you can't.
Ron Paul has been our guest this afternoon. Ron, how do people get a hold of you? How do they find out more about you?
Okay, that is easy. RonPaul2008.com.
RonPaul2008.com, and there they can find out your positions, they can find out your phone numbers, they can find out how to contribute to you, how to volunteer, etc. And obviously you want people to come out on January 3rd and caucus for you.
Absolutely. That would be a delight, because I think we have a lot of people out there that are newcomers to the Republican Party, but they are being introduced to the ideas that, reintroduced to the ideas that has made America great. And I think it's a sleeper issue. I think there's a lot of support out there. The fundraising is a reflection of that. And it's not a couple spammers out there on the internet that have been able to put us together.
I mean, we're talking far more than that.
We're talking about tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people now who are being attracted to this idea of self-reliance or self-responsibility and limited government and personal freedom.
For those of you that are not connected to the internet, and that's okay if you're not, 888-825-PAUL. 888 Paul.
And real quick, can you make a phone call? Can you bring the blimp to Iowa? I want the Ron Paul blimp in Iowa. I want to see the Rudy Giuliani flat cannon and the Mitt Romney biplane brigade. And let's do this World War I style.
Well, we'll do our best, but I'm not sure the weather conditions will permit it. They tried to go to Boston for the Boston Tea Party reenactment, and they couldn't make it.
Yeah.
You know,
Boston weather for blimps.
I wonder about those planners, since that was outside our organization. I wonder if they had not thought about the weather conditions to go to Boston in the wintertime. But anyway, they went to South Carolina, and they did very well.
Well, congratulations to you. God bless you. Thank you for taking your time and bringing your message to Iowa. And I wish you great success, and thanks for taking your time to be here today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, Paul Harvey, the rest of the story on the way. NASCAR Today, ABC News, and then Sean Hannity, the great American that he is, around the corner, live here in Max.